What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, we got a welterweight matchup as the final co-main event of the 2021 calendar year, and this is going to see fan favorite Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad had kind of a strange year, a little bit of a roller coaster ride, getting the fight with Leon Edwards after some time off, having the no contest, a weird eye poke. Then he came back, beat Damian Maia. Wonderboy Thompson was touted as a guy who could make one last run for a title. Gilbert Burns kind of squelched that now at 38 years old for Thompson. So this is kind of a crossroads fight for both of these guys, and I'm interested to see what happens.
This is awesome. The NMF back in action. I love seeing Wonderboy out there. And if you talk to people who are casual fans and people that know the sport but don't really know the sport, when you bring up Wonderboy Thompson, they're like, oh, I like that guy. He's just a nice guy. He's a good guy. And also his striking happens to be some of the most exciting in the entire sport. I really love what he does with his range management and all of the things that he's able to do and evade strikes and then make things land out of these crazy angles. It's really a thing of beauty. And if you ever try to emulate that sort of stuff in the practice room, good luck, because you'll just find yourself getting a headache because it's so complex and it's so difficult to do and actually do in a fight or do in sparring. So Wonderboy Thompson is a championship level fighter, and if it weren't for some of the really high level grapplers that happen to live in his division, I think he would be the welterweight champion. But this fight is actually very interesting because Belal Muhammad has a very good wrestling background. Yeah. And he's good with his tie-ups and he's good with the clinch and everything like that. So it is going to appear a little bit like a chase, in my opinion. Yeah. I think Belal Muhammad is going to want to get his hands on him quickly and as many times as he can. He's going to try to get this thing to the ground as many times as he can. But as we saw against Tyron Woodley, and we've seen plenty of times throughout Stephen Wonderboy's career, he's very hard to get to the ground, and he's even harder to keep there. So easier said than done for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Belal Muhammad definitely weaponizes pace. You know, this is actually a fight that I really wish was a 5-rounder. And I know we got the 5-round main event with the heavyweights, which likely won't go 5 rounds.
Right.
But this fight is one that I think really could unfold over 5 rounds because Belal Muhammad maintains a crazy pace. Stephen Thompson learns his opponent and picks them apart as the fight goes on. And so what I think you're going to get, rather than a 5-round fight, which would be my preference, is 5 rounds of excitement crammed into 3 rounds. I think there's going to be a lot of electricity in this fight. Belal Muhammad doesn't get tired. He comes across the cage. As you said, he tries to back his opponent up against the cage and tie up, do his clinch work, throw short elbows, shoot for takedowns at times. And he did a very good job against Damian Maia of preventing a takedown when he was on the flip side of a grappling advantage. I think he will be the better grappler in this matchup against Stephen Thompson. What's interesting to me is Stephen Thompson is a big favorite, minus 250 to like plus 220, something like that for Belal Muhammad. I give Belal a little bit more of a chance than that, but I think this is going to be a really good fight. And I think what happens against the cage is going to really dictate what happens in this fight, because we know Belal likes to back his opponents up to the cage and do his best work there. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, if you remember from the Tyron Woodley fight, doesn't have a problem having his own back against the cage. He's comfortable in his takedown defense. He can throw head kicks at you from what seems to be almost like a clinch range. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup, and I think this is the type of matchup that if Belal Muhammad is going to insert his name in the long list of people who are trying to get that 170 title shot, he's got to do something impressive here.
Yeah, and Kamaru Usman, the champ, has kind of beaten everybody at 170 besides these two guys. So
Luke
but you know, some of the guys that have been kind of hanging out at the top, and Wonderboy for sure deserves another shot if he can get another win right here. I feel like the fact that this is 3 rounds, it makes the odds more accurate. You know, Wonderboy Thompson, he never compromises game plan. He never turns into a head case like a Cody Garbrandt. If he gets hit once, then he just throws the game plan away and starts trying to bang with you. That's not his style. He'll land all night long. If you land on him, he'll learn from it, stay composed, and continue to score and not let that happen again. And his lateral movements are just insane. The way he's able to utilize every square inch of the octagon is very impressive and very hard to do, but he makes it look effortless. So I honestly kind of see this going the way Stephen Thompson wants it to go, but we're going to see one of those vintage Wonderboy style knockouts. I think we're going to see something really impressive. I think Belal is a tough as nails fighter, but he gets hit a little bit. He's a little bit slower and on his approaches. Sometimes he's not as tricky of a salesman when it comes to going to take you down. He just, you know, you can kind of see it coming from a mile away. Wonderboy Thompson's seen that kind of stuff for years now, and I think he's going to catch him on his way in a couple of times, and then he's going to look for a highlight reel finish to kind of put a statement on his career and land one of these number one top contenders spots.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think Wonderboy certainly could find his shot here, but I'm actually going to pick the underdog.
Yeah.
I think Belal Muhammad can get the job done here. I think he's had a very good year. I think since his win over Damian Maia, he's been putting the work in, preparing for this fight. Finding somebody to emulate Wonderboy, as you said, is very difficult. But I think Belal Muhammad is the kind of guy that, you know, he fought a specialist in his last fight in Damian Maia, and he just implemented his game plan. He said, you know what, I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to work the takedown defense stuff, and I think he did a very good job of preventing the takedown from Maia. So I think this will be no different. I think he's probably brought some of the right people in to spar with and get some looks. But ultimately, he's going to do what Belal does, which is come across the cage, put a crazy pace on you. And I think at 38 years old, for Wonderboy now being this far into his career, it might just be a touch too much. I don't think Belal has the ability to finish Wonderboy, so I think it's going to be a close 29-28 unanimous decision win for Belal.
Yeah, if I didn't see Wonderboy getting a late stoppage, like a third round finish, I would have said this is likely going to go decision and either go 2 or 3 rounds to Wonderboy. But this is going to be a great fight. I love when we pick different fighters for the predictions, because that tells me the fight's usually going to be very competitive, and usually it winds up being a great fight that is really close. So I'm super excited to see it. Wonderboy Thompson's always been one of my favorite guys, and so I can't wait. I'm going to go, while we still have a little bit of time left in this week, go watch whatever kind of footage the UFC puts out on him, the highlight reels, all that sort of stuff, and just get myself juiced up for this Saturday.
Oh yeah, you got to love Wonderboy. The training videos. He's got his own YouTube channel, which is awesome.
It's actually a great channel.
Yeah, I love watching it. And, you know, you see that gym he's built in South Carolina is insane. Yeah. Like those kids, you know, their parents like, oh, we send our kids to karate. It's like you send your kids to one of the most state-of-the-art MMA facilities that there is in the country. But
and he's the coach.
And he's the teacher, which I mean, he is a martial artist. I know I'm picking against him. I think Belal is going to get the job done. But Wonderboy Thompson, for the last 5-6 years, has been one of my favorite characters in the UFC. Yeah. The NMF does things his way, and I think I always respect people that carve out a little piece of fame for themselves in the UFC without trying to emulate Conor McGregor, which there was like a plague of that going on, you know, back 3-4 years ago. But somebody like Wonderboy is a perfect example of how a nice, young, dedicated martial artist can build a great, successful career that will go far beyond. I guarantee you Wonderboy Thompson is going to make more money with that school and his YouTube channel than he made in the UFC. And I know that sounds crazy, but believe me, I think that's true.
And he's one of the few people that's made a whole lot of money in the UFC. Yeah. But, yeah, I think there was a spike in after Conor McGregor in cheap suits and sunglasses being sold all throughout the towns that these fighters live in. But to be authentically yourself is the best thing you can do in this sport when you're trying to be an entertainer or a character, and just turn up the levels and turn up the volume a little bit on that character, and you'll always come out with the best results. Wonderboy does that perfectly. That what you see is what you get, and man, the skills that he brings in the octagon speak for themselves. So I love it all the way through. I can't wait for this fight.
Me either. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. You know the drill. When Nick and I are split on our predictions, you got to settle it for us in the comments. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do so now. It helps us with the algorithm. And if you enjoy all MMA content, guys, and you haven't subscribed, we always appreciate a subscribe to this channel. And we will see you in the next video.
Peace.